before I say anything about this week's episode, who nearly cried? Well, a few teardrops did fall out simply because the episode is too cute. I swear this is like the cutest show out this season, and I highly recommend, if you love, fluffy moments, if you love, adorable moments, something that's simple and heartfelt, something that's like family oriented and just simply good times, and something that you can laugh about and enjoy with everyone, then I do highly recommend Gakuen Babysitters. It's just a really down to earth, very fun anime to watch, and it's very enjoyable from the most part from what I've seen. And it might make you cry a little bit because, some of those stuff that I just mentioned. But nonetheless, here I am again with a weekly review of Gakuen Babysitters, and in this week's episode, just like the previous episodes, episodes 2 and 3, it's broken into 2 segments. Now, I don't know if they're in the future with the remaining episodes that is left, if they will do like one episode dedicated to like one chapter or something, or if they'll break it up into more than 2 segments, but that's for future episodes. But for the time being, for the first part of the episode, it is a new year, still same school, but this time we have where Ryuichi, Hayato, Inomata, and the other characters are now first year high school students. So from my understanding, the school that they go to at least is from middle school to high school. So Ryuichi and Kotaro doesn't have to worry about going somewhere else, or at least for Ryuichi having to relocate somewhere else for high school. He can still stay in the same building and be part of the babysitting club and be there with his baby brother. So since it is a new school year, it is the time where students are trying to recruit others to join their clubs. And that's the same thing that's happening for the Babysitters Club. So we have where Ryuichi is trying to find people who's interested in joining the Babysitters Club. And he created an advertisement poster to put on the poster board. But of course there wasn't much space. So he's going from club to club. Some of the clubs that we've seen was the cooking club and the drama club. That's the club Karen's mother is in charge of. The cooking club is the club that Inomata is in, and of course they passed by the baseball club. But even though they didn't really state it, we see how Ryuichi's attitude goes from pretty happy to getting a little bit more sadder as the more clubs he passed by. And simply for the fact, you kind of get the messages, Ryuichi, he's not really living, that type of life young adolescent will be living. He has a lot on his shoulders. Remember, he lost his parents due to a plane crash, and now he is basically the guardian and provider for his young, possibly 1 to 2 year old little brother. So he can't afford to do much like go to different clubs or act like a proper kid or a proper teenager, simply because he has so much baggage. And it's not like bad baggage, but he has so much on the sides actually take care of. So he has to act like both a big brother and at the same time like a parent. So when he's looking at these clubs with a longing look in his eyes, you do feel sad for him, because even though you do enjoy the relationship he has with the children, especially with his brother, you have to come to the realization that, dang, this guy can't really live his life the way he wants to because of the circumstances that he had gone through with the death of his parents. So when he's about to go try to find somewhere location in the school to post up his poster, and he's asking Kotaro to come with him, Kotaro's like, no, and he's shocked by this. He comes to find out that Kotaro, who actually was looking at his brother and was kind of understanding that, his brother looked sad, and he was looking at Hayato when he was at his practice match with the baseball team. He was actually trying to drag Hayato to come meet up with his brother, and we got one new member of the Babysitters Club. So I'm really glad that Kotaro was able to read his bigger brother and understand that he was feeling kind of down, and realize that someone needs to come through, and that person is Hayato. So we have one new member, and hopefully we have more characters that are willing to join the Babysitters Club. Now for the second half of the episode, that's the part that actually kind of made me tear up a little bit. we have where Ryuichi has gotten sick, and poor Kotaro wants to stay with his big brother. Especially children at that age, they're very, especially when they, they're very close to their said family members or people that they're comfortable with, they will want to latch on to them. So we see where Kotaro is a few times sad for the fact that he can't stay in the same room as his brother. And then we have where the chairwoman Yoko, she says, come with me, we're going to try to find a way to make your brother get better, get back healthy. So she gives him the task of squeezing the lemon, and it was like the most cutest thing ever, because he's giving all his might to squeeze a sliced lemon, and then he ends up spilling it. First he got only one little drop, like it was the most successful thing he has ever done in his 2 years worth of living, and then when he managed to get a good amount of the juice from the lemon, he accidentally spills it, and then you see him get all sad. Eventually he's able to do it again, and we come to the point where it was actually kind of sad. It was a nightmare that Ryuichi was having, and it was the nightmare of his parents leaving, going on their plane trip to wherever they were going, but this time they were taking Kotaro with them, and that's his fear that, if suppose his parents actually did take Kotaro with him, where would he be? And it's actually very frightening, and that nightmare does scare him a bit, and also scares you, the viewer, because that could have happened. They could have left their oldest son to, stay home until they came back and take his younger brother, and then come to find out he never sees all three of them again, so he loses his entire family. And that's Ryuichi's fear, that for the fact that possibly he could lose his brother, so he's doing everything he can to keep him close. Of course, we have where Kotaro tries to soothe him and coax him to feeling better, and he gives him his medicine, the lemon tea. And of course, he's happy for the fact that Kotaro tries his best to make his older brother feel better, and ends off on a funny note where Yoko takes Kotaro out the room, just like how she did earlier. And so Kotaro is sulking in a corner because he can't be in the same room with his brother while he's trying to get better. So it ended on a good note as always, and I really enjoyed this episode, so I can't wait for next week's episode. Next week's episode, we look like we're having a new character. All I have to say is that a certain voice actor is finally back, Hosea. He's finally back after his month-long absence, so I can't wait for the character that he's going to voice act, and to hear his voice once again after such a long period of time. And if you guys have any comments about this week's episode, do leave it in the comment section below on how you felt about this week's episode. Is there anything missing from this episode from the manga that was not included? I would like to hear your thoughts on that. The links are in the description box, so you guys go check that out. And I'm Kimmy Chan of Anime Legends Podcast, and I will see you guys later. Bye!